On this vote, the ayes are 218, the nays are 211, with one answering present. The resolution is adopted. I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a hallelujah? Finally. It may have taken a long time, but many people feel like they're finally seeing accountability in Congress. You just saw that clip. That was Nicole Maliotakis stepping forward and making her position clear. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're looking at a moment that some viewers consider one of the most intense confrontations in recent congressional debates. For them, this represents a point where members of the House of Representatives decided to push back strongly against ideas they believe are harmful to the country. Figures like Bernie Sanders are often cited by critics as shaping a broader political direction, and others, including Ilhan Omar, are seen as part of that same movement. There has been a long-running debate about what patriotism means, and whether criticism of the country is a form of accountability or something else entirely. In this moment, Nancy Mace and Nicole Maliotakis made it clear where they stand. Let's dive deeper into what happened and break it all down.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 713, censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on Zateo's town hall with Mehdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far right propped his corpse up as a cudgel for their holy war. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and sicking his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a stochastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed the subjugation of women, and in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect the credibility on the House. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America and Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability, because we should not have an individual with those views on the committee that is tasked with representing our country and our Congress to foreign nations. I yield back.
Wow, that moment after the vote was something else. That silence, depending on how you see it, can be interpreted in very different ways. Let's break this down, because there are two key figures in this discussion. First, Nicole Malliotakis. She laid out her argument in detail, referencing statements and concerns she raised during committee discussions. She pointed to remarks made by Ilhan Omar that have been widely debated, especially comparisons involving the United States, Israel, and groups like the Taliban and Hamas. For critics, those comparisons were deeply controversial. Supporters, however, argue that they were taken out of context. That's where the divide really shows. Then the conversation shifts to broader ideology. Some critics connect these viewpoints back to Bernie Sanders, arguing that his political philosophy has influenced a new generation of leaders. Others strongly disagree with that characterization. The debate extends beyond individuals. It touches on economic systems, foreign policy, and national identity. Then came the vote. A narrow margin, but a decisive outcome. For supporters of the decision, it represents accountability. For others, it raises concerns about political targeting. Next, we see Nancy Mace entering the discussion with a formal resolution. She raises concerns about rhetoric, tone, and the impact of public statements. This part of the debate focuses less on policy and more on language, how political disagreements are expressed and how far is too far. There are strong accusations on both sides. Some argue that political discourse has become increasingly hostile, while others believe that strong language is sometimes necessary in heated debates. What's clear is that this moment reflects a much larger issue. It's not just about one vote or one individual. It's about how political disagreements are handled, how accountability is defined, and where the line is drawn between criticism and escalation. By the end of it, one thing is certain: this debate is far from over. What do you think? Was this a necessary step toward accountability, or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns like this.